Hey guys, it's William, and a lot of my Alexei Navalny content has been popular lately, so that must mean you guys are interested. I'm here to bring up a further story. As you guys know, he just got sentenced to 2.5 years. I was checking out his page, and here's a full translation of what he said in court. So I'm gonna read that for you guys. A lot of people don't speak Russian, so let's listen. Everything beneath is what he said, okay? Alright, ready? I would like to begin by discussing the legal issue here, which seems to me to be paramount and a bit overlooked in this discussion. Remember, these are Alexei's words. There are two people sitting right there, and one of them is saying, "Lock them up, Navalny," because he showed up to meet with his parole officer on Mondays, not Thursdays. And the other says, "Let's lock up Navalny because he didn't show up immediately after coming out of his coma." But I would like everyone to remember that the essence of this trial is to lock me up over a case in which I was already exonerated, a case that's already been recognized as fabricated. If we look at the criminal statutes, Your Honor, I hope you've already done this once or twice, we'll see that the European Court of Human Rights is part of the Russian justice system, and its decisions are binding. The Russian Federation halfway acknowledged this ruling and even paid me compensation here. Despite this, my brother spent 3.5 years in prison because of this same case. I spent an entire year under house arrest for the same case. Let's do a little math. The verdict was in 2014. It's 2021 now, and I'm still being prosecuted for this. Why is this case exactly? There's a reason, and it's not because there's some shortage of criminal charges against me. Somebody wanted me arrested the moment I crossed the border after returning from Germany. The explanation is one man's hatred and fear, one man hiding in a bunker. I mortally offended him by surviving. I survived thanks to the good people, thanks to the pilots and doctors. And then I committed an even more serious offense. I didn't run and hide. Then something truly terrifying happened. I participated in the investigation of my own poisoning, and we proved, in fact, that Putin, using Russia's Federal Security Service, was responsible for this attempted murder. And that's driving this thieving little man in his bunker out of his mind. He's simply going insane as a result. Man, this guy has balls. There's no popularity ratings, no massive support, there's none of that, because it turns out that dealing with a political opponent who has no access to television and no political party merely requires trying to kill him with a chemical weapon. So of course he's losing his mind over this, because everyone was convinced that he's just a bureaucrat who was accidentally appointed to his position. He's never participated in any debates or campaigned in an election. Murder is the only way he knows how to fight. He'll go down in history as nothing but a poisoner. We all remember Alexander the Liberator, Alexander II, and Yaroslav the Wise, Yaroslav the First. Well, now we'll have Vladimir the Underpants Poisoner. Oh my god, this guy's going to get killed in prison. I'm standing here, guarded by the police, and the National Guard is about there with half of Moscow cordoned off. All this because that small man in a bunker is losing his mind. He's losing his mind because we proved and demonstrated that he isn't buried in geopolitics. He's busy holding meetings where he decides how to steal politicians' underpants and smear them with chemical weapons to try to kill them. The main thing in this whole trial isn't what happens to me. Locking me up isn't difficult. What matters most is why this is happening. This is happening to intimidate large numbers of people. They're imprisoning one person to frighten millions. We've got 20 million people living below the poverty line. We have tens of millions of people without the slightest prospects for the future. Life is bearable in Moscow, but travel 100 kilometers in any direction and everything's a mess. Sounds like a lot of third world countries I've been to. The capital's okay, but leave that and there's nothing going on. Our whole country is living in this mess without the slightest prospects, earning 20,000 rubles, 265 American dollars a month, and they're all silent. They try to shut people up with these show trials. Lock up this one to scare millions more. One person takes to the streets and they lock up another 5 people to scare 15 million more. I hope very much that people won't look at this trial as a signal that they should be afraid. This isn't a demonstration of strength, it shows weakness. You can't lock up millions and hundreds of millions of people. I hope very much that people will realize this, and they will, because you can't lock up the whole country. The only thing growing in Russia is the number of billionaires. Everything else is declining. I'm locked up in a prison cell, and all I hear about on TV is that butter is getting more expensive. The price of eggs is rising. You've deprived these people of a future. Communism, bad. Everything I'm saying now reflects my attitude towards the performance you've staged here. This is what happened when lawlessness and tyranny became the essence of a political system, and it's horrifying. But it's even worse than lawlessness and tyranny. But it's even worse when lawlessness and tyranny pose as a state prosecutor and dress up in judges' boots. It's the duty of every person to defy you and defy such laws. This guy is in Russian court saying this. This is ridiculous. This is beautiful. I am fighting as best I can, and I will continue to do so, despite the fact that I'm now under the control of people who love to smear everything with chemical weapons. My life isn't worth 2 cents, but I will do everything I can so that the law prevails, and I salute and thank the staff of the Anti-Corruption Foundation who have been arrested and all the honest people across the country who aren't afraid and who take to the streets because they have the same rights as you. This country belongs to them just as it does to you and everyone else. We demand proper justice, decent treatment, and participation in elections, and participation in the distribution of the national wealth. Yes, we demand this all. I want to say that there are many good things in Russia now. The very best are the people who aren't afraid, people who don't look the other way, who will never hand our country over to a bunch of corrupt officials who want to trade it for palaces, vineyards, and aqua discos. That's in reference to his billionaire palace. I just made a video on that as well. Take a look. I demand my immediate release and the release of all political prisoners. I do not recognize your performance here. It's a deception and completely illegal. Alright, guys, that was the end of it. If you're still here and listening, tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like that I'm bringing out this kind of information to YouTube instead of just cat videos and other nonsense, you can subscribe. And I'm very thankful for anyone listening right now. Thank you guys. Goodbye. My name is William.